I'll introduce Carla, guys, and try and record it. So basically, the process of all these seminars is the exact same. Step one: educate, become aware of the process. The next 4 weeks. So here, the process that we're going to be doing today is Carla will educate you on everything. Carla's background is she studied the area as well too. So we're going to set 3 goals. So we're going to write your names here and sharing like whatever you feel you're comfortable sharing as part of the workshop. We'll probably do that right at the end when Carla's gone through everything as well too with you. Those 3 goals, the idea is making 1% change over the next few weeks. So 1% over, over the course of the year is like 36% or something like that, which is massive. So then once you get to the end of today, then you have the opportunity to commit to those goals. So setting goals that you can't commit to, so you have to be kind of think rationally about it. So that's 4 weeks. Instead of it's I will do X, Y, and Z. So you're changing your language, we're holding you accountable. The resources is that WhatsApp group, and also we'll show you some other resources that you can use. And the trick is to be resourceful through that WhatsApp group. What do you need? I need this, I have this question, or that question. So again, it's not a lack of resources, it's always when it comes down to a lack of resourcefulness. Okay? So again, I'll hand over to Carla, she'll go through it, and then probably give questions at the end, so write the notes if you want to ask those questions. I'm going to keep asking them if that's okay.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so a little different than what I'm used to doing. Used to presenting, but not a group of people. I usually say do this, do that. So yeah, so basically, I pair habits and behaviours as the same. Okay, so they're interlinked in my opinion. From my studies, I just think that you can't have any habits without your day-to-day behaviours. Okay, so they're formed by repetition. Okay, so the more you do stuff, the more it becomes the norm. Okay, so say you get up every day and you go and you have a sausage roll from the deli on the way to work, or you buy a breakfast roll every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday to get through the week. Okay, that's going to become your habit. It's going to be like you're going to be trying to get to that day to get through your week, basically. So that's your habit then. Your habit is going to something that gives you comfort. So it could be in stressful times. It could be like I do it myself. So on a Friday, I'm like, okay, I've had 4 6 a.m. alarms, 4 half 5 alarms. I'll have a breakfast roll on Friday, and that'll be it. So I'm kind of relying on that then to get me through the week, whereas I should be like, look, I've worked hard during the week, I'm going to have this, but then throughout the week I have good habits. Okay, so it's about balance as well. So basically, habit formation. So how we form habits, we think there's some stages to it. Okay, so there's the pre-contemplation, so that's when you're like, you see someone else doing something and you're like, oh, I'd love to be able to do that. Okay, so then there's contemplation and you're like, okay, I'm going to actually do this. So you're thinking how to do it, and then you're looking at the preparation. So the preparation stage is you coming in, talking to Larry, making a plan. That's the preparation. Okay, the next stage comes action. Okay, and then we move to maintenance. So that's probably the hardest stage of it all, maintaining the new habit. So you go pre-contemplation, you go to contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. Okay, so they're the most important pillars of changing any behaviour. Okay, so like lots of people get stuck in the contemplation stage where they're like, you know yourself, you want to change something, you're like, oh, I'd love to be able to do that, I'd love to do that, but just don't. So the action phase is the most important phase, and that's why it's good to lean on like the likes of myself or Larry for that stage. So yeah, so the ideal thing to do really is not to make a goal too big for yourself. Okay, so each person has different habits, obviously, and we have to know kind of what motivates people. So some people make them into the gym and they're like, so say David for example, let's say David, you know Strong David, that comes in and he throws around different weights and he's doing 85 kg on single leg squat, and I'm like, how am I going to stop him if he falls? So that's what he needs, that kind of keep going, do you know? Whereas some people need more gentle motivation. So they could come from, let's say, a really stressful day-to-day life. They could have kids, they could be prepping things all the time, they could be up till all hours making lunch for the next day. And then people need just different motivation. So if a coach is not empathetic to what people need, then they're just going to be pushed away. So if you want to form your habit and you're in an environment where you feel pressure, okay, so say you come in and the coach is one size fits all. It's not going to work, okay? So you come in and you need something different, so you come and you have a word with the coach. If they're not like absolutely like work around you, then it's not going to go very far. So it's important to make people feel better, comfortable in the environment, and that's where habits are formed better. So it's all a way of coping, and that's how we get through our individually set habits, is just coping with what's going on around us, okay? So a lot of the things that would stop some blockers, let's say, of this would be your time, cost of changing a habit, discipline, self-control, and energy levels, okay? So like a lot of people, everyone kind of struggles with their own, let's say, demons, not necessarily they don't have demons, but their own things that makes it hard for them to change, okay? And that's where you come to someone like myself who has good ways of coping with things. Like I've played at quite a high level of football most of my life, so it's pretty cutthroat basically. If a coach doesn't take a liking to you, that's kind of it, you know, so you have to find a way of being like, okay, it's not me, it's them. So it's using people who have the strong mentality to keep going, to take the little steps and be that 1% better. So as I was saying about the 1% over the 4 weeks, that will be 36% over the whole year. Okay, so if you can make that 1% difference, then you're kind of you're setting yourself up to form down new habits. Okay, so that 1%. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So basically, I had a coach who this stuck with me before I even looked into James Clear. Have you heard of James Clear? I watched his Atomic Habits. So I definitely watched that video on YouTube. So it's James Clear. He has a book. I don't know if you're into reading, but it's called Atomic Habits. And he has his own take on kind of habit formation and everything else. So his big thing is the little differences. So the 1%. So look at these 3 goals here, right? If you want to set a goal to be, let's say, basic level, I'm not saying we don't do this, but let's say very basic level. You get up in the morning and you don't make your bed, okay? So I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, if you get up and make your bed in the morning, that sets up your day. So that one thing, that one little percent, if you get up and you're like, okay, I've made that bed, that looks beautiful, let's go. Whereas you get up, you leave the bed messy, you crawl out of the bed, and then your day kind of follows on through that day, you know? So it kind of sets the tone for the whole day then. Okay, so if you get up every morning, you make your bed. Another one could be have a glass of water with your breakfast, okay? They're all little 1%. So how easy is it to go to the tap and fill a bottle of water, or a glass of water? I don't do tap water, so I won't do that, but it is easy, okay? So we go over it, have a breakfast, have a glass of water. So that's 2 things you can do in the morning to be that 1% better, is make your bed, have that glass of water, okay? So that's the start of your day, a little 1%, and you're a little bit better than you were yesterday. So if you can say to yourself, yes, I was actually better this week than I was last week. Don't say I was better yesterday or today than I was yesterday, because maybe you had a bad day. That's fine. If you look at yourself in the overall week and you're like, yeah, this week was good, I did good things, I focus on that little 1% and I change and I feel better for it, then that will be the new norm for you and you build from there. Okay, so let's move on then. We're on to our cue, routine, and reward. So along the lines of these ones here are the cue, reward, or routine and reward, okay? So that's James Clear's one, and it's basically the cue being your pre-contemplation, contemplation, and prep, and the routine is action, and the reward is maintenance. So let's say, for example, you think of something you want to do, and then you form an action. You're like, okay, I'll do this thing, and you go for your walk in the evening. You say you haven't gone for a walk in so long. My mum would be the very same. She's like, okay, I need to go back walk, and then she goes for a walk. Afterwards, she'll have, have you ever heard of happy hormones? So dopamine, so they're the things you get from exercising, from fresh air, and serotonin from the sun. So that would be your reward in that situation. So you go for that walk, you automatically come back from the walk and you'll be like, okay, I feel great. That would be the rush of dopamine. Same when you walk out of the gym. You should walk out of the gym feeling better because of them happy hormones. So that's what us fitness fanatics, I'm sure Larry can kind of agree with me on that. We kind of chase that then. Once you've had that high from the gym, it's like you're on the route then to forming them good habits because you've experienced this dopamine rush that, you know, it's basically, it's a drug. It's a self-made drug. So that would be the cue, routine, reward. So you come to the gym, you feel great, and then you continue. So that would be maintenance then on top of that. So So that would be James Clear's take on that. So I do encourage you to have a look at his video and see what you think of it. Okay. So then we have okay. So just on the habit formation, it's not a fast process. Okay. So it's not going to be overnight. You feel great, like Rome wasn't built in a day. It's slow, and then due to this, like it's slow because it's memories. It's making memories of how something has made you feel. So it's kind of stored in procedure memory. So when you do something, it's stored there, and then it becomes your habit, your new norm. Okay, so it's important to kind of control your controllables. Remember what I said about the individuality of all. So this one here, it's important to just like know what works for you, control what you can control. Okay, so you shouldn't feel pressure coming to the gym. You shouldn't feel under pressure to go for your 5K run. It should be just at ease, whatever way you want to do it once you're ticking it off. Okay, so we come on to the checklist then. So the checklists are kind of not making the goals too big, unattainable, because you become overwhelmed with it then. So it's working on what works for you and having a positive outcome from your own little plan. So whether it's the smallest thing ever or the biggest thing ever, you get to the end goal by the day-to-day process that you go through, and it's making that journey kind of what's the word I'm looking for? And making that journey like make you feel good, like make you feel like you're
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment, and just like feeling like you're getting a sense of accomplishment out of your day to day. But if you're waiting for that end goal, you're going to just feel like you're not getting there any time because you're chipping away at something that's too big. Okay? So that's really it, guys, around that. So it's just looking at kind of what works for you. It's working on coming to us and leaning on us for, say, the 4-week plan. So making them little goals, being accountable, that we will help you on them things, okay? So, yeah, basically, the most important things I want you to take from the talk is making sure that you're in an environment where the coaches are empathetic, okay? So everyone has their different things going on, and that's okay, that's fine. It's about coming in and having a laugh. This should be a little release for you, and you should build towards your goals. So whether that be Larry's days where he does the strength competitions, so Liz, you were there for the strength competition, Lisa, you were there for the strength competition, lifting them weights, I bet you thought you'd never be able to do that. So that's behaviour, that's habits, you know. So you got into the habit of lifting weights, and look where it got you. I bet you just felt great on that day. Yeah, so it's about doing them things, and we're here to help you reach them goals. So for the girls that are kind of newer in or in and out, just lean on us, whatever you need. Like if someone wants to drop me a text and be like, look, I'm having a hard week this week, can you recommend anything for me to do that's not coming into the gym this week? Okay, or what can I do to get myself into the gym this week? And little things like that where I can send you back a voice note. My big culture athlete probably won't understand me sometimes.
Tough to warrant you.
So it's just the little things. It doesn't have to be pressured, it doesn't have to be anything. I want you to feel nice and relaxed coming in, and then come out with your dopamine rush and you're just flying out of the gym, okay? So if you're going into the gym in a bad mood, that's fine. Hopefully when you're walking out, you're skipping out the door, okay? So that's really it. If anyone wants the presentation sent on to them so you can have a little read, feel free to give me a text, okay, because I have it all here where you can just read through it and then lean on it then as well. Okay, does that sound good? So we're going to go, me and Aaron are going to go through our goals now, Grace, and then the accountability on the app and everything, okay?
So I think what we'll do is maybe, Carla, if you want to, with me, get my 3 goals up and go through the process. So then it'll be easier for you guys to understand the thinking. So the way this works is that there's typically a triangle of your work, personal life, and then like your fitness. So if you imagine that, put mine on the triangle. And then so we have that triangle there then, and then the circle. Within that triangle then you have you, so your fitness, your personal life, what do they say is your work? Work. So typically they all influence one another, and this dot can kind of, watch the camera, this dot can kind of move around. So if your focus right now, like for me, is quite big time on work, okay, well then I have to know that, well, these might temporarily suffer, but macro
too long, but they can become very overwhelming if you set your goal very, very big. So that comes down to then going through the goals that you have set, so setting up a timeline. I think through this process of 4 weeks, what we want you to think about, and you can have a look at this as well, it's outside, is where you are on this continuum. So is it the foundation of trying to set a weekly training regime? Is it around hydration and sleep and nutrition? So I'm going to take fitness now and set my 3 goals and what I think is feasible. So this setting of 3 goals is around health, it's around fitness, but I'm then keeping in conscious back in my mind, okay, I'm doing fitness part to be more positive, get more positive outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be all fitness is how does this maybe personal life affect this, okay? So we'll do that now and we'll go through it. Any questions you need to ask me to get clear on it, or is it just actually not?
No, not necessarily. I'd like just for you to think about well-being as well. Obviously, you have family and work. So yeah, and then just your goals for kind of around the gym with everyone else kind of looking at you as a role model as well. No pressure.
Put him under pressure, that's it, Carol.
So my 3 main goals mainly are, so for me, going through it in my head between pre-contemplation and contemplation, it's the baby who doesn't sleep at all at night, sleep consultants don't work, so I'm really struggling with sleep, that's really holding me back. But it's helped me is the fitness group and the 5K, so I do my training now to get a 5K time better. And I need to get to the gym to stay free. So my goal is the 3 gym sessions per week, is get them done somehow.
Yeah.
In those 3 gym sessions per week, maybe part A's, so 3 gym brackets, part A's. So if I don't get part B, B's and C's
Yeah.
done, at least I had 3 20 minutes
Yeah.
blocks. So that's a big one, and that allows me then to not waste away and get injured for running.
Yeah.
And then running helps me stay, what's the word, mind.
Yeah. Your well-being, health,
Yeah,
your
it's
well-being.
very
Clear
accessible.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the runs then, would the runs be for a second one for that clear head, using the runs as an outlet from.
Yeah, that's
from
the second goal then.
stress.
Yeah. So stress management.
Let's say headspace. Okay, and then third, what would you say? Let's say sleep, you can't. Let's say the controllables as well. Sleep, you kind of don't have overly control of because of the 2-year-old.
Weekly training regime, hydration and sleep. I think when I get my hydration right, I then think about nutrition better. So, like, it's great getting 15 cents back with those bottles. So it's not.
Yeah.
So I keep drinking those
That's a
bottles.
goal, isn't it, as well? To get the.
It's a way of avoiding tax as well too. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's a tax consultant.
Yeah.
So I think maybe not using those bottles all the time because it's against the whole thing. But 2 liters of liquid a day. When I say liquid, I have like water, that aloe vera drink thing for carbohydrates I drink during training,
Nice.
and I've got a protein there last week. Clear protein.
Yeah, way that's good. The
Yeah.
isolate. Yeah.
So I kind of use that in
As
to
a
get the-
way,
yeah.
yeah.
So then there's flavour because I kind of crave and really sweet
Yeah.
taste for that sleep. Very simple.
That's good. It's like I don't want necessarily us to be focusing on. I don't want to say my goal is to win the Champions League in September because that would be kind of I come back home from it and I'd be like, perfect. So my goal in the Champions League is to play 20 minutes, and I think that's an attainable goal for me. If I get more, then I'll feel on top of the world. So I think that's where we want to set our goals around. So even if we don't want to put our goals necessarily up on the board, do you want to write them down for yourselves? Do you want to have a quick think and write them down? Either I'll come around, or if you want to send me a picture on after the seminar as well if you get home. Okay?